Massage therapists of Reddit, have you ever had a sexual experience while giving a client a massage? Or, what is the creepiest thing to ever happen to you while giving a client a massage? Part 2. I enjoy a good massage, but I don't enjoy the amount of focus it takes to keep it half-mast at most for 90 minutes instead of enjoying the massage, so the undies stay on the bundies. I got a good one. Im male escort and erotic masseuse. My prices are very high compared to a regular massage and no one can mistaken what you're buying. Also, the website I advertise on is full naked buff dudes, so there's really no confusion. Well, one day I receive a call from a man asking if I'm available. He said he would like a massage at his office in the middle of downtown. I didn't think much of this as I've done this kink for a few people before. They normally run a small business and nobody is there at that time at night. Innocent enough. But this guy requested it to be at lunch and gave me the address to a bustling building. When I arrived, it was filled with people in a beautiful open space office. I brought my massage table and people were making light conversation with me thinking I'm a legit masseuse. This was way out of my comfort zone. I'm used to dealing with pervy guys in dim-lit rooms. Not talking to Karen and her friends interested in booking a massage. When I finally met the guy, he led me through a maze of people and departments. Everyone was staring as I was dressed like a manho, while everyone else was in business attire. Tank top, grey sweats and no underwear. Gotta dress the part, you know? He leads me to our open room that had been converted into a massage area. Meaning there is no doors, just a paper curtain divider that blocks the view from his coworkers. I started the massage and was thinking he can't possibly think I would do anything here right. This is insane. After 30 minutes, I started to get a sense that something is off. I would glide my hands to more intimate areas, but he kept talking casually. Most guys would pop a tent, or ask to be massaged near their groin, or start touching my junk. But he was talking about his wife and daughters. I immediately asked him how he found me. He told me it was a recommendation from one of his friends. Then starting going on about his relationship with this guy, and how they have a very strong friendship, and that they would constantly prank each other. I froze and my heart dropped. This guy thinks this a legit massage. This was supposed to be a prank that somehow got way to advance without any party knowing. Hence, why I'm in the middle of a tech office, and he is so nonchalant about everything. I immediately went real masseuse, and focused on his knots for the remainder of the time. He paid me my ridiculous fee, and made a small comment about it being expensive for a massage, but it was good and convenient. I was beyond terrified as I was seconds away from doing some highly inappropriate things to this man right in the middle of his office feet from his coworkers. I had a very eccentric, creepy as duck, client who came into our clinic one day wanting a TUI massage, type of Chinese massage. We usually leave the room to let the client strip down into underwear before we commence, but with this guy I had no chance to get away. Before I had time to give him a towel, he dropped his pants to reveal a sparkling blue G-string that barely kept everything in place. The guy was about 58, huge beer gut, grey hair, gold earring, and hairy like Robin Williams. As I started the massage, the guy started to tell me that he worked as an erotic masseuse specializing in body slide massage. This is where the masseuse gets oiled up and rubs his body and genitals all over before ducking the client at the end. The whole time I was massaging him, he kept telling me that I was really good with my hands. He also repeatedly told me how good he was at his job and plugging his business with a hinting tone. A very awkward session. I can smell this story. I had a guy tell me, stop teasing. You know exactly what you're doing. Don't start me up and not finish. Studying to be licensed, but I volunteer my services at a harm reduction clinic. You know what you're doing, you mean the job you got hired to do. From 19 to 21 I worked at a massage place as the receptionist. People used to come in all the time to ask how much massages were, and usually that was the extent of the conversation. One day a bloke walked in and asked how much the massages were, so I told him. Then he asked in an overly friendly voice if I did the massages. I naively plowed on with no, not me, they're done by, when my boss walked out of the consultation room he'd been in with a client and said I do the massages. Can I help you? The guy looked instantly sheepish and couldn't get out the door fast enough. My boss said he'd overheard the guy ask if I did the massages and knew something wasn't right. Told me if that ever happened again to just say I would get the masseur for him and walk out. I do home visits, I'm male. Had a particular client 3 times. Usually I have clients stripped down to their underwear. The second session he got nude, but I didn't think much of it as he seemed okay. At the end of the 3rd session, as I was massaging his neck, while hairs on his back, he just started jerking off. I was kind of shocked in the moment and didn't know what to do. He reached for my hand as if to get me to finish him off, and at that point I stood up and said I have to go. Was fairly awkward waiting for him to get dressed so I could pack my table and get my money and leave. I've had a couple of incidents in my 5 years. Female therapists would have it much worse. Sucks that massage is associated with the sensual/sexual, because I really like helping people overcome aches and mobility issues, but it's hard to advertise without getting calls from guys wanting their duck tugged. My girlfriend is in lack and this dude used to come in and get acupuncture and masturbate during the session. It never had anything to do with her, and he never asked her to help or anything. He just needed to be getting needled while he was doing it. He paid her a lot more than her usual sessions and apparently had trouble getting off otherwise. He is almost 40 years her senior, and I've heard their sessions before. He truly just needed acupuncture to get off. She was never super comfortable with it, but it was good money. Eventually we didn't need the money, and she had to put a stop to it. He was totally respectful about that too. He never made a move and always communicated very openly and honestly about what he needed. Pretty nice guy, if not a bit strange. My parents own a spa I used to work at. I have a hit ton of stories, but here's a goodie. At one point we had 2 male massage therapists. Now, I worked in the call center, and before booking a massage, we would always clarify if the client was comfortable seeing a male massage therapist, as we had a majority female clientele. But one day this male client books a massage for himself with our male therapist edition. He was a new client and actually requested a male, whatever. Guy goes in for his appointment, and the first half is normal. Dude's naked on the massage table with a blanket covering his lower half. First half of the massage he's on his stomach, then Ed tells him to go ahead and flip over to his back to continue. This ducker flips over, hands Ed a wad of cash from who knows where saying that's for you, and starts to jerk himself off. Ed promptly said alright, your appointment is done, they'll take care of you at the front desk, and books it out of there. Dude pays, leaves with no problem. Here's the kicker. Ed never told my parents, a manager, nothing. We only found out through work gossip. But, because we didn't know about this creep, the guy ended up calling and scheduling another appointment with Ed. We found out shortly after booking the scoop, and the guy was asked to not come back. The spa's a pretty upscale place in the triple-digit price range, so not sure if the guy just thought we were an expensive spa with a side hustle or a really cheap brothel. I get a call from my friend one night. Her boss wants a massage and she recommended me. Since he is my friend's boss, I don't really worry much and head over to this dude's place with my gear. When I first come in and have everything set up, the dude offers me a Vegas bomb. I pass, and the massage starts as normal. Everything is going normal. The dude was Indian, I think, and was saying how this is great. He would recommend me to all his friends, etc. But about halfway through I hear, "You do happy ending?" My hands just froze. No one had ever asked me that before. My friends make jokes and all, but I'd never before had to deal with a client seriously asking this. The conversation goes like this. Creepy dude, you do happy ending? Me, no. CD, why not? Me, because that's disgusting and unprofessional. CD, I pay extra. Me, we are done here. I stopped the massage, packed up my gear, told him to pay the full price and left. Once I was home, I called up my friend to tell her what a creep her boss was. She started laughing her ass off. Apparently he had asked her if I did happy endings, and she thought he was joking and joked back yes. My wife and I were at a small resort in Costa Rica. When we go on vacations she always gets massages, but I never do. This time we decided to get a couple's massage. We get in the room, and the two are waiting for us each by a table. She had this Latin love god, and I a cute girl in her early 30s. They tell us to take off our clothes, and gave us these little paper undies, then left the room. The room was nice. It had a little fountain with some foliage and some soothing sounds from speakers. We each looked at the paper undies, laughed and decided to forego them. It just seemed too silly. They started the massage, and it felt good. She would stretch my arm, then start working it, first going over it lightly, then gradually getting harder. The time came to do my butt. She moved the towel down and started working my cheeks. Then the inside of my cheeks, which I thought was odd, but I'm new to this massage world and maybe that's what a deep tissue was. At this time I'm starting to feel not relaxed but insecure. I suddenly become aware of my wife next to me, who sounds more than relaxed. Meanwhile, back at my butt, she was really doing the inside of the cheeks well. I had hoped this was the last spot she would do. The last thing I want is butt cheeks wet rubbed all over my body, then started to press down on my actual anus. I felt pressure building up behind her thumb. I clench, and I clench like I never had before. I spin around and say very politely, thank you for the massage. My wife, our time isn't up yet. I told her we have to go now. I told my wife what happened, and she laughed at me and said, only to you. And now this is her favorite story to tell. Someone I know, they are female, said that while doing a Brazilian wax on a male he became. She just wiped it up and remained professional. I don't know how. I was previously a certified massage therapist and nothing creepy or sexual. I've been physically attracted to clients before, but it is drilled into your head that this is absolutely not the setting to pursue this. There was maybe one odd thing that isn't all that odd, but was distracting to me. I always drape the client so the top of the sheet is up to their armpits. So guys and girls, obviously, always have their nipples covered. This one dude though kept folding the sheet down to just under his nipples. I would keep moving him and adjusting the sheet, but he would eventually fold it back down. The edge of the sheet perfectly underlined his nipples and I just kept getting distracted by them. They were like two eyes staring at me. I have a rare medical condition where I breathe through my nipples. I once had a massage therapist repeatedly try to suffocate me. I have a friend who is a licensed massage therapist and has been studying medicine and been around doctors for much of his life. One of his sessions with a regular female client, while she was face down and he was in front of her, by her head, working on her back, she reached up and grabbed his ass. He asked what she was doing and she said, sorry, I don't know. I couldn't help myself. He told her not to do that again, and the rest of the session continued as normal. At the end of the session he got her a glass of water, and as he turned around to leave she grabbed his ass again. Still she apologized and seemed genuinely upset and embarrassed, insisting that she just couldn't help herself. My friend ponders for a moment before doing a peripheral vision check on her. Her vision is way below what is normal. Massage therapist calls the client's husband and suggests that they go see a doctor because there might be something wrong with her impulse control and vision, suggesting maybe some sort of frontal lobe problem. Sure enough, A few days later she had an MRI and there was a tumor developing in her frontal lobe. Glioblastoma, I think. I forget the exact medical language he used. It was removed, and she is doing fine now. Believe me or not, I had a massage with a girl once, and she was new. Before I flipped over from my stomach, she whispers, anything else I can do or focus on before you turn over? Based on the place being one of the most popular massage places nationwide, I figured she meant it non-sexually. I said no. I turn over, and she massages my legs no problem. But when she does my arms, she rests my hands on her breasts slightly, and I had to think about my grandma so hard to keep from getting in trouble. We finished the massage and I left. I rescheduled and got her again a few weeks later, and she had changed up her style to rest my arm on her rolling chair for that. So someone must have mentioned something. My wife is an RMT, registered massage therapist. A lot of tradespeople go out west to work/be overpaid, but return to visit family or inevitably return. She had one such client who had just gotten back from the oil rigs and assured her that if she did a real good job he'd tip her well, in more than one way. She said she'll make sure she does a good job and to apply deep pressure if that's what he wanted, but he just kept suggesting a real good job and lots of money. She's not a prude, and she doesn't take hit from anyone. However, wasn't sure if his duck was moving involuntarily or if he was actually wagging it at her. I chimed in and let her know that the dude was definitely duck wagging, hoping she'd take notice. Obviously she didn't do anything, got a mediocre tip, and saw the guy maybe once or twice after with similar, if not less subdued interactions. That's probably the worst thing to happen to her. However, a male colleague of hers had been charged with sexual assault and causing physical harm to a couple clients. It does happen. More than one might think. I don't do massages, but I used to do body wraps for detox and inch loss. A regular customer came in for a half body wrap before going on a cruise. I knew her, knew she did them completely nude, and she was very nice. Her husband called me that evening and said her vaginal lips were no longer symmetrical, and I had to redo the wrap and make them match. Obviously I have zero control over how the body will react to the wrap, but knowing she was a good client, I'd be more than happy to try. I figure wrapping that area a little tighter might help, so I did. After the wrap, he came into the room and told me to stay in case I needed to do anything. He got down on his knees and she spread her legs. He started inspecting her. I stayed a few minutes not wanting to leave since he had told me to stay, but when the inspection turned sexual and they clearly just wanted an audience, I got the hell out of Dodge. He said I would've gotten a fat tip if I stayed, and I said yeah, I bet it would've been more than the tip, and told them never to return. In my late 20s I used to work as a technician in a local spa in my medium-sized town. I specialized in Swedish massage and mostly saw clients who were there for one-off sessions. I did, however, have a few consistent clients whom I saw once or twice a month. One in particular, an incredibly fit man in his early 40s, the spa was in the same building complex as an ice gym, would come to me pretty regularly for a 90-minute session. He was always really nice. We chat as he settled in, and then he would get on the table and simply enjoy the massages. I would be lying if I said I didn't enjoy them too. He wasn't an incredibly buff man, but his muscle tone was amazing and I just really enjoyed touching his body. About the 5th or 6th time he came in, something quite interesting happened. About 60 minutes in, after he had turned over and I had begun working on his front, I noticed a very obvious erection beginning to tent up. I tried as hard as I could to ignore it and simply continue on with his massage in as professional a way as I could manage. Hey, it happens, right? After about 3 minutes, he seemed to become aware as well. He sat up slowly and removed his towel completely. I took a step back, and as much as I wanted to tell him to please cover up, I was totally in awe of his member. He apologized to me and grasped his penis with his right hand at the base and began to twist. I heard a hissing sound and steam began emitting from the base of his penis as he removed it. He walked over to his jacket and pulled out a small box lined with soft felt and placed his detached penis inside and closed the lid. He walked back over to the table, put his towel back on, and goddamn you guys, all of these stories will be just as real as this one. I'll admit, you had me in the first half. If you liked this video, don't forget to smash the like button. For more hits and giggles, subscribe.